Hello, and welcome to Asian Pulse TV, your informative and resourceful station. I'm your host, Shivangni Naiker. We are broadcasting from the unceded territories of the Silvertooth Nation, Katzie, Musqueam, and Kwantlen Nation. We feel very blessed and for the generosity of the First People who share their traditional and ancestral land with us to live, laugh, and grow. With the heat wave we are having in BC, it is important to keep an eye on the elderly people who have compromised immune systems and children to keep them cool and hydrated by drinking plenty of water. Canada's birthday is coming up on July 1st. Our country will be turning 156 years old that day. There will be events in each city in the country. We live in one of the best countries in the world. Did you know that the Canadian population reached up to 40 million people? This isn't because of us having many children, but this is because of Canada taking over 300,000 to 400,000 immigrants each and every year. Hooray to Canada! Let's take a short break and we'll be right back from 3 words from our sponsors.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005. Bollywood Banquet Hall and Conference Center, located at Pyle Business Center at 201-8166 128th Street in Surrey. No celebration is too small to accommodate you. They have newly renovated 2 halls to serve you, up to 1,000 guest capacity, top-notch chefs to delight you with delectable and heavenly cuisine. So just call Bollywood Banquet Hall at 604-598-2700 for your events.
Venisi Mobile Detailing Services. They offer commercial trucks, cars, SUV, boats, bikes, RVs, and much more. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859 and they will do all kind of services at your home.
Hello and welcome to Asian Pulse TV. My guest today is Rochelle Prasad, and she is a project officer with UN in Canada. And she is an advocate for sustainable community, engaging youth in political discourse. Recently, she received Canada's Emerging Leader Award for BC and North in Ottawa. She is our young rising star. We want proudly call our own. So, Rochelle, thank you so much for coming in today and sitting in there.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be home.
Yeah, I have seen you in the community doing all this great work, and I said, I need to talk to you one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. How are you today?
I'm doing so well, and so much is happening in our community, specifically over the summer, so it's great to reconnect again and talk more about the issues that matter most to youth.
Yeah. So you also ran for the city council in Surrey.
I did.
Die-hard Surrey girl.
Yeah.
So how was that political experience for you?
It was an amazing experience. It had its positive moments and it had its learning moments as well. I was one of the youngest candidates that ran in Surrey, and unfortunately I missed it just by under 1,500 votes, made it 10th place, but learned so much about what politics looks like, feels like, and also I graduated from school with a BA in political science, so using that and using my community skills, I came to understand that there's so much more in politics than there is to someone that's watching from afar, so I'm looking forward to getting back into it next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever the next election is.
Yes.
So you also worked for the city of Surrey.
I did.
In different projects.
Yes, I did. I worked with the city of Surrey for 4 years. Mm-hmm. This was throughout high school, university, and I currently work with the United Nations Association in Canada, and both of those experiences have really uplifted me as a leader in the community and helped me really bring quality education to those who need it the most.
Where do you get your energy from? At your age, people will be having fun, they want to go have parties, they want to go traveling, they want to do all those other things. Mm-hmm. But you are a young person who is so committed to all these issues like climate change and all that, so close to you. So where did that come from in you?
Yeah, it came to me from a really young age. It started in grade 3, and my mom and dad had taught me from a young age that if I see a problem, if I have the skills, then why not do something about it? And there's a saying, I'm not sure who said this, we can find it online, but it's, if not you, then who?
Yes.
And the who is, it can be the community, but it has to start with someone. It has to start with a leader or someone with an idea. Yeah.
So talk about your background,
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah, sounds good. My parents were born and raised in Fiji,
Okay.
and they immigrated to Canada in the late 80s, early 90s. And when they came here, I was born, Surrey Memorial Hospital, and same thing with my sister as well, and we've been here ever since, yeah.
So you have 2 siblings and one sibling
sibling.
and a sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have elderly grandparents? Are they a role model for you?
Yeah, my grandma's a huge role model for me. She was a kindergarten teacher for the longest time in Fiji. And then when she came to the States first, she worked in the hospitality district, and then she came to Canada. And now she's retired and doing well. And she's really instilled in me the morals on what it means to be a good human being in the community and why community does matter. Yeah.
Is your sister following your footsteps?
In her own ways. In her own way she is. She's her own shining star.
So, oh, wonderful, wonderful. So you talk about the project you did with United Nations.
Yeah, for sure. So with the United Nations, we have a couple projects going on currently, and the one that we just wrapped up was called the Digital Equity Program. And the Digital Equity Program is a way for youth to reduce their barriers when it comes to accessing technology and how to access technology. If we look at the stats, we can tell that through Statistics Canada, or just by, if you're at home, feel free to Google it as well, is that in northern BC, a lot of Indigenous communities, or even just marginalized communities in Metro Vancouver, we don't have Wi-Fi or access to a telephone or fast enough internet, again, or Wi-Fi to access education. And that's very important to notice that in BC and Canada all wide, there's a digital equity problem. It's a crisis.
And we take all these things for granted.
We do.
Yeah, if the internet is not working, oh my goodness, I mean, call this and start flipping all those things, that may be what is going on because you are so lost.
Yes, yeah.
But we take everything for granted, and where you worked on projects, there is nothing like that. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. The Digital Equity Program through the UNA Canada, I believe, has served as the foundational resources for youth to learn how to access the internet, what grants are available, and also what skills, if they already have internet, they can use to help others who don't access it. So that was a really great program. Kudos to UNA Canada.
So you have done so many other projects. Talk a little bit about different things that you have done so far. You are such a young woman. Under 25, I must say.
Yes. Yeah. Where do we start?
Yeah, where do you start?
My career highlights definitely have to be Spark Foundation. I started as a social entrepreneur, and you know this probably through and through, is that I was with Spark Foundation for 9.5 years as their CEO, and I started it when I was 14 or 15, and I recently just stepped down last year, and I'm still involved in an advisor capacity, and that was a nonprofit that truly empowered the next generation to gain the life skills they need through quality education programming, so through workshops, camps, those mentorship experiences. From then on, I wrote a book to sort of let young people know, well, not really do let young people know that they can make a difference in their community through my story. And from there, dove straight into politics, and then just finished off my master's at the University of Toronto and got into more academia, and now I'm a professor in the evenings, and I work at UNA Canada. So a lot of community politics and education.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've done all this, and where do you get the energy to be doing that?
I mean,
it just boggles my mind.
For me, it's more so there's so many, not necessarily problems, but a lot of gaps in our society today. And I feel like that I have so much knowledge and so much experience, and I'm still learning alongside people, is that why keep that all to myself when I can help other people?
When you talk about experience, you are under 25 and you have just lived a life of 100 years because the life, the experience you were talking about, the things that you have done. You, I mean, do you ever have a time to yourself, or everywhere you go, you are just thinking, oh, I can do this. This is a project that will be a good project for me. It's just, how great thinkers that they don't have a silent moment or quiet moment.
That off button.
Yes.
Yeah, since I was younger too, my mom and I talk about this a lot, is that I always had a go button, never a stop button. But it's recently, within the past 3 years, that I realized I need to slow down. Life is important. I'm getting married in a couple weeks, and just taking that all in and practicing mindfulness, so drawing or writing or journaling, reflecting on my life is very important, because if I don't take care of myself, how am I supposed to take care of other people in the community? So mental health does really matter.
Yes. And talk about the mental health with the youth too. Because after the COVID, they said the people that suffered the most, people that had the COVID, that was another thing. They have the physical pain and they had to go through all that. But the kids, they got so tuned into all the electronic devices and things like that. And now that they have to put it away and be more focused in the classroom and all that. And they think that mental health is the biggest issue with our youth today.
Yeah, very, very correct. My perspective on this is that the pandemic caused a lot of issues or underlying problems that youth did have or didn't have. They just developed over the pandemic. And one of those being isolation was huge. Either there's a stat through Statistics Canada or through Kids Health Phone that 80% or more of youth in Canada nationwide felt isolated or alone throughout the pandemic. So they couldn't reach out to their parents. They would call in hotlines, and that speaks volumes. It's insane to know that there's youth that were thinking about not waking up the next day because of being alone during the pandemic. That's what it caused. But on the other side, so many programs came out of that. More support, more government funding. So there was a give and take there, as well as financial sustainability took a downfall for many families. A lot of families lost their incomes. That plays a role on mental health, or children just couldn't go to school and or work like they normally did. So a lot of rising issues.
And the food as well, you know?
Yes, yeah.
Because the cost of food and everything is so expensive right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say after the pandemic, but it seems to me the cost of living has gone up so much that people think, or the parents think, it's cheaper to buy them McDonald's than they put the healthy food on the table for the kids, right? So how you think the brain will develop, just eating all the greasy food and not healthy fruits and vegetables and other things.
That's the other portion to mental health that a lot of people don't really consider, is your diet and well-being. It's what you feed your body. Is just like my mom used to say growing up, if you eat good or bad food, you become that food. Like if you eat broccoli, you become a broccoli. That was my mom's way of saying make sure you eat healthy. But still today too, that's like a good note for youth, is just eat the right foods as much as you can. And drink a lot of water. It also plays a role in mental health, as well as sleeping as many hours as you can. Yeah.
So I know you said you are getting married soon.
I am.
So talk a little bit about how are you looking at the marriage life? What would that? Because what I look at it, such an independent person. You have power in your hand. You can do whatever you want. Do you think it might slow you down?
I think it would do the complete opposite. I know it will do the complete opposite. Only because I believe I have the best partner in the world.
Okay.
Also by faith as well. He is, if I'm this energetic, my partner is even more energetic, and we're both really well driven and supportive of each other. So I feel like we're going to change the world together. And that's the most important thing about getting married for me, is knowing that I have my partner who will be able to support my education, my dreams, not slow me down, but uplift me while I can do the same for him.
Excellent. That's good. What else do you want to talk about?
I just need to, let's maybe dive more into the state of our city right now. The city of Surrey and youth voices. What I'm currently seeing in our city is three things. Number one, there's a huge conflict right now, of course, between the Surrey RCMP and police.
SPS.
SPS, and there's also there's new funding that's coming into our city as well when it comes to enhancing parks, recreation, culture, and last but not least, youth programs is taking a large hit after the pandemic within the city of Surrey, either it be nonprofits or the city itself. I guess my one piece of advice or free piece of advice for youth is to really just get involved. Sign up to be on a board, sign up to volunteer, have your voices be heard, because there are so many underlying issues that are going on in our community. The best thing we can do right now is let the people know in the room that we are the next generation and this will affect us and we need to do something about it.
Let's go back and talk about RCMP and SPS
Yeah.
because it's a topic.
Yeah.
It's affecting everybody.
It is,
It's
yeah.
not like the SPS that have been hired in last 3 years and they are sitting and the boots are not on the ground.
Yeah.
And also the RCMP
Yes.
that are working right now had been working here for, I don't know,
Yeah.
I think the first came in 1952.
Long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago. And because the anxiety, both are the same thing, the anxiety with our CMP and SPS, right? And everybody wants a safer city. Do you think police is the one to keep you safe or getting into drugs, alcohol, gangs and lifestyle? Or do you think we also have a responsibility in schools, parenting, how we parent our kids and all that? Do you want to leave the parenting part on the RCMP? Because I hear that SPS will do a better job
Right.
of the recruitment, gang recruitment. And I said, okay. Then I talked to the RCMP and they said they have officers
Yeah.
in the schools as well.
Yeah.
And now it's not, I had somebody that came here 2 weeks ago and they are recruiting RCMPs. And they said they have offices they used to have in high school, but now they got the offices in elementary because that's where the recruitment starts. Early ages, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to leave our children to the offices? Or should we be talking to our children every day as a parent? I know you're not a parent, but I'm a parent and a I think that starts at home.
It definitely does. It takes a village to raise a child, right? It's an
Yes.
old Fijian saying and a community saying too. So it's a little bit of parenting, it's a little bit of teachers, a little bit of the community, and then a little bit of the policing. It's not just policing. There's so many other factors involved. I think that's another notion that a lot of parents and guardians and just people in our community don't realize is that the safety is important, but it's not the end all be all. There's so much more that adds up to making sure that your kid is safe. And one of the things is parenting and what friends they hang out with, or even their education system and teachers. There's a lot of role models that play a role there.
Yeah. And I think if you are a parent, it's not just because your child in school 8 hours and they will be taking care of you. You as a parent also have a responsibility checking with the teachers, the counselors, the principal and all that. How is my child doing? What does they do during break time and all that? I want to know more about my child.
Totally.
Because I'm leaving my kids in your hands and I want to get the feedback.
Yeah.
So maybe we all can help the child grow together, right?
Yeah, that's exactly one of the reasons I believe I am the way I am is because my parents were involved in my life and they checked up on me. They asked what I needed, how I was doing. So the more involved, there needs to be a balance, not too overly involved and not too underly involved, is that have that balance with your child. I'm not a parent yet, but when I am, that would be one of my pieces of advice to myself is to be involved, but also let the child breathe and be their own person.
And so that's what your parents did.
Yes, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Even though we as parents, we all have one job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think if you bring a child in this world, you also have a responsibility to slow down. And the kids are kids for that long. You don't need a parent right now. You love your mom's cooking and all that, but when you needed your parents, they were there.
They were there,
And
yeah.
that's what counts.
Yeah.
And that's what mold you to who you are today.
Yeah, there we go. They showed up to those piano recitals, even if they didn't like it, and they picked me up from school when I needed them the most, and they asked me, most importantly, if I ever needed anything, that they were there for me. So that's important, to have that communication.
and go home and talk how is the day and talk.
Yeah.
And even for parents, they can also be vulnerable with your children. That even if they had a bad day at work or what was all right, what didn't go
Yeah.
good, you need to build to that. You cannot be friends with your kids. At the same time,
Yeah.
they know that it's not just me as a child going through that. My mom also goes through things like that at
Right.
work, or she was late, or she couldn't find parking, and things like that. So I think it's important to share your own experience with your children. They learn to share that with you as well then.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah. So who is your role model?
Currently in my life, my grandma is my role model. It changes. My mom will always be my role model, but right now, this month, my grandma, only because I'm going through so many life changes right now.
Yeah.
Just got my first home. I'm getting married, and politics and community is also stepping up their game this month for me. And my grandma is just a person she's full of faith. She's Christian by nature, but she just looks at situations in a really optimistic lens, and she gives me really great words of wisdom here and there when I'm going through a tough situation. She'll just remind me that there's a greater life. It's not just that one situation. You have so much more to look forward to. So my grandma.
Excellent, excellent. What word of advice to your listeners? They see you in the community, they read about you in the community, you are at different events and all that. You are so many people's role model. What advice do you want to give it to young kids these days?
Yeah. Two pieces of advice. The first one is something that I always say, and that's age doesn't matter when it comes to making a difference. You don't need to be 5 or 99. You can be in between or both. You have some sort of skill set in you. You just got to figure it out and help the community, because in return, they will definitely help you. And second of all is that to really trust your gut. That's something that I'm working on currently, is if I know something feels right and I know that I have the knowledge to go in that direction, just do it. The worst that could happen is maybe the person on the other end says no, or maybe I just have to restart and figure out a new path, but you never know until you try.
Yeah, and there's so many people that maybe or the parents are watching with the kids, or parents will say, listen to her. Would you be also available to talk to anybody that is going through a rough time, either in home, in school?
Yeah, of course. That's my favorite part of what I do in our community is mentorship and getting to know youth and letting them know that I've also been your age. I still maybe am your age, and there's so much I can learn from them and vice versa.
Yeah. And just do what your gut says. And always say that, and I think we all are responsible for our choices that we make. And I even say to my granddaughter and people, my family and all that, I said, you have one shot at it, the life, hormones changes and friends and all that, they're going to last for so long. This is the period. If you can pass through that, we all have been through that. Life, I'm not going to sit back and say everything was given to me on silver platter, they say. No, but we worked through that. We had ups and downs, but end of the day, the choices that I make, I'm responsible for that.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rochelle, wish you all the very best in life. And this is just the beginning, though, for you coming and sitting on the chair.
Definitely.
And I will let you do whatever you need to do. And maybe in next couple of months, if you have another project coming up or anything new in your life, you're always, always welcome in here.
Thank
you are
you.
such a great role model to the community.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Most welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be able to come and chat with our audience.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have some announcements that we would like for you to know. The Richmond Night Market is open now from every weekend until the end of September. They have cuisines from all over the world. Go out and enjoy different types of food and support the Richmond Night Market. Musadi Begum Festival, Indian classical music, and dance is back again this year at the Massey Theatre on September 23rd at 7 p.m. Tickets and for more information, call the Massey Theatre at 604-521-5050 or ticketsnw.ca. If you missed our show, you can watch it again tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. and again on Saturdays at 5:30 on Shaw Cable. All our shows are also uploaded on our YouTube channel under Asian Pulse TV. Please share and watch. Asian Pulse also brings 3 other shows each and every week for you. Fijian Focus you can watch on Tuesdays at 10 p.m., Thursdays at 2:30, and Sundays at 4 p.m. The Camilla Singh Show on Mondays at 10 a.m. and again on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. VT Vibes on Thursdays at 10 p.m. and again on Sundays at 4:30. All our shows are also uploaded under the Camilla Singh Show. Before I leave you with these thoughts. Choose people who choose you, ask how you are, see you, let you be you. Feel good to your nervous system. You can breathe easily around them. You don't need to perform or act. You are good for your mental health as well. By Sasha Tazi. Have a great week and see you all next week. I'm your host, Shivangi Naikar.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005. Bollywood Banquet Hall and Conference Center, located at Pile Business Center at 201-8166 128th Street in Surrey. No celebration is too small to accommodate you. They have newly renovated 2 halls to serve you, up to 1,000 guest capacity, top-notch chefs to delight you with delectable and heavenly cuisine. So just call Bollywood Banquet Hall at 604-598-2700 for your events.
Benisi Mobile Detailing Services. They offer commercial trucks, cars, SUV, boats, bikes, RVs, and much more. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859 and they will do all kind of services at your home.